Cupertino city mayor. So from Cupertino, I'm always in the run. And I'm always pushing other people to run too. So.
And Barry, why did you want to run? And did you have a story to convince people to start pulling them in your direction?
Right. I told people I have 3 dreams in my life. Number 1, I want to see a Chinese American become the president of the United States. So we pushed Gary Locke very hard, but he wouldn't do it this time, next year. So we have to find someone else to do it. Maybe Chang, become the California governor first, and then later on. So that's one dream. The other dream is to want the Japanese government to formally apologize for what they did during World War II, because they haven't done it, and which is wrong. Okay? And then number 3, I would like to see China become a more democratic country, more prosper, more, more interact. Because I'm in business. I'm the mayor now, and I find out there's a lot of information we can gather. Okay? And then, for example, if you want to be a good business, right now between Amazon and Google, they're fighting so hard. Guess what kind of business they want to get into it? Guess. Drone, right? Drone deliver. Okay. And China is the number 1 country building the drone. And China should, in my opinion, should get into it too. This is a great opportunity. They're making a lot of money, blah, blah, blah.
The big decisions which are in the history books. But the next stage of my family's history and my experience illustrated how even the smallest of public decisions can make a difference in people's lives. My father decided to come to the United States, and the rest of us were stuck in Taiwan because of unfair U.S. immigration laws. John Kennedy won the election of 1960 by less than 1 vote per precinct across America. But because he got elected, our lives changed. Within 3 months of him coming into office, he signed a little-known, little-remembered executive order that permitted us to come to America. And within 6 months, my sisters, my mother, and I were in an airplane coming to join my father. I know that public decisions make a difference. And what do I want to do to help you in your life? I want to improve public education so that your children have a better future. I want to protect the environment and fight for safe drinking water and clean air. I want to improve our economy by investing in education and research and the technologies that create more jobs. Okay, that's the stump speech. And you notice we talk about why we want to run, can you relate in a story, and what you want to do for your constituents. And you should develop that in advance. It's preparation. And my consultant said, hey, that story you tell is the second best story that we've ever heard. And the best story was a woman on Long Island who ran for Congress because her husband was gunned down in a subway and about a dozen people were shot. And she ran for Congress to fight for stiffer gun laws. And that was the most moving story of any reason to run for office. And it is a tremendous reason to fight to improve other people's lives. Fiona? Oh, no, please.
No, the story, I live in Long Island, so I remember the story.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you remember that?
Yeah, I remember the story.
Yeah.
On the Long Island train, yes.
Please, anybody else?
Because I was saying you have to be able to tell. You have to be able to tell your story. If you're one of those that doesn't, is very shy, doesn't want to talk about your family background or your history or even your flaws, then people aren't going to resonate with you. I talk about having hepatitis B and being born with it, and how, 1 out of 4 people like me are going to get liver cancer. People don't want to talk about hepatitis B, but this is something that I work hard about. My mom has depression. So I talk about how depression can affect everyone, anyone. It doesn't matter a demographic, an age, a culture, but that is very prevalent, and we want to work on more funding for mental health issues. I talk about domestic violence, that everyone here in this room understands domestic violence and has seen or knows someone who has been affected by domestic violence. So, you need to be able to talk about your history and what you want to do to change people's lives. The more personal you are, the more people can associate with you. Like when David talks about his parents, and being, being kicked out of China and how they met and how they suffered and how he actually got here, that's what moves people to better understand you and want to support you.
We are primates. At least I hope that we are primates. And primates are motivated by stories. It's what makes things memorable. And once people are motivated, then they backfill with facts. Here, public speaking, a crucial skill. It is the thing that frightens people the most, that I'm told that frightens people more than anything else. And if you're going to run, you're going to have to get over the fear, and you're going to have to learn public speaking. How do you learn it? Practice, practice, practice. You'll learn that a podium speaking is different from working with a stick mic. Working with a stick mic is different from working with whatever this is called, a handheld. And you will learn that a joke that is really funny in the evening after everybody's had a drink will fall flat in the morning before anybody's had their first cup of coffee. Now, does anyone feel brave enough to stand up and talk for a minute or two? Betty, I know that you do. Huh? No? Mark? So sometimes, the biggest challenge is to keep it brief. Were you here? No, you weren't here when I quoted Bob Packwood, that you can be forgiven for any sin in public speaking other than for being too lengthy. So with that, Barry, here you go.
Sure. To get over the public speaking, you have to do it all the time, okay? You got a chance, you got to get up and speak, okay? And after a while, you will get used to it. I remember when I was in middle school, I was #1 in my class, so the teacher appointed me to be the 班长, okay? So I have to be in front of the class, right? But every time go to 升旗典礼 or raising the flag in Taiwan every morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, I have to lead the group too, and then I have to walk in the synchronous way, right? And when I was standing up in the front of the class, my leg was shaky all the time, shaky, and then my voice is just so mumbling because I was so scared. Okay, but now, I mean, if I give me the microphone, I probably won't be able to get it back.
Thank you, Barry.
Sure. I want to let Jackie to introduce herself because
Jackie,
Jackie.
your name,
Okay.
where you live,
where you want to run.
and where you're going to run and why. Oh, well, no. And when.
Oh, that's a lot. My name's Jackie, last name Chang, and I live in Cupertino. And since 4 years ago, when I just got back from China, and I lived in Fremont first, about 10 years. Then all the family went back to China for 2 years. When we moved back, and we decided to move to Cupertino. We really loved there, and two of my kids, they go to the high school, Monte Vista over there.
Terrific.
Yeah, I work for Campbell Union School District, and I'm the finance director over there.
Terrific.
So I want
Thank
her
you,
to run-
Jackie.
I want her to run for Cupertino School Board, so that's why I push her up.
Barry almost always gets what he wants. Fiona, Further comments about this?
I was saying 20 years ago, I could not speak in public without notes. And I would, take notes and have to read the notes. And it comes from practice, number one. But then we actually hired a coach when I ran for the state assembly to do debates because I was terrified of debates. I didn't grow up, in Toastmasters and, Asian families, we don't stand up and, announce what we always want and what we should be talking about at home. So that was really difficult, but my coach really helped me find my own style and my own voice. So it's okay to hire people to help you when you're running.
And I also want to just mention that I learned to speak in public very, very, very late in life. I came out of law school with incredible fears. I could see the words literally floating in front of me, and I volunteered for every speaking gig I possibly could. Sandy?
Yeah, I just want to tell you one experience that I have. I, at one time, worked very closely with Matt Fong, and then he wanted to be the treasurer of California, and then he ran for the Senate of California. He lost. But after he lost, he's still working very hard. So two things that he and I just really very intimately involved in. Number one, he continue to have his voice training by a voice coach. Second, he continuously, throughout his life, he have a folklore coach, would somehow improve the content of the speech. And then also he would have coach to help him to deliver the speech on a continual basis up until he's about to die from cancer. We miss him very much. This is what I have witnessed. In order to be in the public arena, you just need to work very hard. You need to be very serious. And you have to be striving for the best. You cannot be the best unless you have the best coach, unless you have the best supporter, and also you have to work the hardest to be the best. Because if you run, your community deserves your best. The country deserves your best.
Sandy's being humble because he actually hired, or at least paid for, Matt's various coaches. And Sandy, there's a Shakespeare theater in Washington, D.C., which has a speaking class. And I've always wanted to take those speech lessons, and I sort of figured that they'd help me with my hand gestures and so on and so forth. So Sandy, maybe you could help me with that.
Yeah, but you should go home and videotape yourself or have someone videotape you. That's the way you really see what is coming out on the other side. Because in our brains, when we speak, we hear differently. And I have little habits. I always say like when I'm thinking. And my husband will always say, you said like 10 ums. I didn't hear the ums, right? Because we're just like thinking about what to say. And so just practicing or videotaping yourself, you will get a better sense of how you speak and then how to improve your communication.
Okay, the really tough subject, we're going to devote a whole section to it, but we're going to just mention it right now. And fundraising, it's a necessary skill, right, Fiona? Absolutely crucial. And so many people think, oh, somebody else will raise the money for me. And I'm here to tell you, nobody is going to raise the money for you. You're going to have to raise the money yourself. Fiona, did anybody just come in and raise all of your campaign funds, ever?
No. I pretty much have to raise all of my funds all the time by myself because donors like to hear from you. They want to know that they're investing in you. They want to know what it is your platform is and whether you're serious about running and winning. So not everybody just cuts a check because you're great and they support an Asian American, right? You really have to cultivate your base.
We'll talk about some of the mechanics later, but you really have to just expect that you're going to have to raise the money yourself, and that is part of running. If you're going to go to medical school, you're going to have to take organic chemistry. You can't get there without the misery of organic chemistry, and fundraising is the same thing. Choosing a profession. Fiona's a CPA. I'm an attorney by background. Mark is an attorney by background. I think it's incredibly important to have a profession because running for office is very, very uncertain. You may never run. You may not win. And to have something to do which you love to do, which can support your family, is very, very important. And I'd like people to chime in. But Fiona, please, go ahead.
You know, for politics, people like me, this is our passion. This is our life. Having my CPA to fall back on is nice, but it also forces me to work harder because I don't want to go back to what it was that I was doing. Honestly. I mean, 2 years I was out of office. I made a lot of money, but it just wasn't fulfilling. I mean, public service, helping people, meeting and talking to people, I mean, that is my passion. And for those who are waiting to make a lot of money, you know what? There's never really a good time. And voters, you can't buy the hearts and minds of voters. It doesn't matter. We've seen it from Meg Whitman, from Carly Fiorina. Arnold was an exception, honestly, but
No. I mean, it wasn't the money. It was the persona.
it was a persona. You're right. Yes, it was. But there are exceptions to the rule. But for the most part, they want to shake your hand. They want to see you. They want to meet you. You got to go knock on their door. You have to, stand in front of the BART station or the local supermarket, hand out your flyers, many times sometimes. Not just once, but 2 or 3 times. If you're standing there at Safeway, the third time, someone may say, you know what? I saw you here last week. Okay, I'll take your flyer. There's a lot of rejection that comes with this, but you have to believe in yourself and want it. You have to want to win more than all the other candidates in the race.
Choosing a community. Many of you are already ensconced in a community you care about, that you love, so this isn't an issue for you. But for people who are in school, who are still young and mobile, choose a place that you'll love. Because again, running for office is uncertain. You may not run, you may not win, and be in a place where you'll enjoy living there, where you care about the community, where you'll be very involved. Because you know what? You'll be a more successful candidate if people can feel, and I think they can feel, that you really care about the community in which you live.
Yeah. So it's good and bad, right? Your community should be your base. When you're running for office, you should be able to look at everyone here in the room and say, hey, I'm thinking about running. Will you support me? Honestly, will you cut me a check right now? Right? Because the reality is, David knows, when you're a candidate and you ask for a check, sometimes people run the other way and you never see them. And you're like, whoa, what's happening? I see everyone, I've been, seeing them every Sunday at church or every week at our weekly dinner. It happens. It happens. So sometimes your community will let you down. And sometimes when you run for office and you lose and you have to go back to the community, you also have to face your community. And if you are running for the right reasons and you lose for some reason, I would say, try again. Go back, work on your weaknesses, work on establishing your relationships, and try again. Don't just disappear from the community as well.